Now on CoastTV News.
A first aid kit and a flashlight. What to have on standby during peak hurricane season. Car engulfed in flames. The latest about this scary situation in Millsboro on Sunday evening. 6 months in, President Trump promotes progress and downplays the Epstein fallout.
Relief from the intense heat and humidity. A cooler and drier air mass settles over Delmarva the next few days with cooler temperatures and lower humidity. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for joining us for our 6 o'clock hour. Hope everyone was able to get outside on Sunday. I know First Alert meteorologist Bob Trey, he says he was busy building patio furniture. Bob, that's a tedious task.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Elisa, it took me several hours, the little Allen wrench and putting several pieces together, but I got it together, and it's going to be more enjoyable to be outside the next several days. As we're looking at some clouds this morning, some breaks in the clouds too, maybe a couple of sprinkles too. We're watching a cold front dropping in from the north, and it's ahead of that front. We could see that sprinkle, but behind it, it's a drier, cooler air mass that will be building in later today and really the next several days. Out the door right now, we're in the mid 70s, maybe upper 70s from Bethany Beach to Lewis, 78 there, 77 in Laurel, 76 in Georgetown. Dew point temperatures still on the muggy side, but they'll be dropping as the winds are beginning to turn to the north. This morning, though, we'll see quite a bit in the way of clouds, however, as that front is working through. Can't rule out a stray sprinkle, don't need the umbrella. And then we start to clear it out by noon, 70s to lower 80s, and then gorgeous by mid-afternoon. Lots of sunshine, mid-80s inland areas, and noticeably lower humidity with 70s and 80s at the coast, and a gorgeous Monday evening, the first real nice evening we've had in some time. And the first time, I think, with the mowing forecast that I've had good every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as we'll see that nice stretch of weather continue really for the rest of the week ahead. I'll have much more on this beautiful forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Our top story this half hour, a tornado in western Sussex County in 2023. Some of you who are watching may remember when that tornado killed one man. Recently, people on Delmarva have received multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and at least 2 tornado warnings. Longtime Georgetown local Charlie Koski says he is worried about another one touching down.
It's a little concerning. I've seen the damage that tornadoes have done throughout Delaware.
And in the event that there is a tornado or a hurricane, you want to make sure you are sheltered in a safe space with a flashlight and a first aid kit. This just in, an update to a story we have been covering since 2024. Frank Stiles, a 51-year-old man from Millsboro, is expected in court today for charges related to home improvement fraud. According to Delaware State Police, since February 2023, detectives discovered Stiles was operating under several business names and signed contracts with 16 victims for in-ground pool installation that never happened. Police say Stiles received over $1.5 million in payments without even starting those projects. According to Delaware courts, Stiles is scheduled in court today at 9 a.m. And for more on this situation, you can visit CoastTV.com. New this morning, transportation issues in Millsboro will take center stage today at the DelDOT committee meeting at the Town Council. According to the agenda, the committee is set to discuss speed limits, stop signs, and signal upgrades along busy Route 24. Officials are set to review plans for a new traffic signal at the Plantation Lakes development and a request for a temporary 4-way stop at Route 24 in Delaware Avenue. That meeting will take place this morning at 9:30. Happening today, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to sign several bills related to health care and public health. That's according to state officials. And one of the bills set to go in front of the governor is House Bill 21. Officials say this bans the sale of tianeptine, which is a drug often called gas station heroin. Another piece of legislation ready for Meyer's signature is House Bill 53. This focuses on telephone services and devices for people who are deaf, have hearing loss, or speech disabilities. Happening today in Milton, a focus on finance. According to the agenda, town officials will present the budget for fiscal year 2026. Officials will also discuss and could vote on a resolution they say is related to the scope of work for the Finance Committee. This meeting will take place at 6:30 at the Milton Library. If you were driving on Indian Mission Road and Fisherman's Road in Millsboro on Sunday evening, chances are you saw lots of smoke. The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company posted this video of that situation. The agency says the black Audi sedan was fully engulfed in flames, but thankfully everyone inside that car escaped safely. Delaware State Police are continuing to investigate the cause of that fire. A controversial rezoning request for the Belmead Farms in Lewis was supposed to go in front of County Council Tuesday, but according to a new agenda for Tuesday's meeting, the Sussex County Land Use Application docket, County Council will discuss the possible rezoning on September 16th. For background on Belmead, the county's Planning and Zoning Commission recommended conditional approval to rezone farmland along Route 24 for agricultural and commercial use. That change could pave the way for new development with apartments and commercial businesses. The proposed Belhaven Hotel is back in the spotlight as the Rehoboth Beach Planning Commission prepares for a continued public hearing this week. The delay follows concerns from the Planning Commission and locals who say design updates were submitted just 48 hours before the last meeting on June 26th. During that last meeting, developers agreed to submit finalized plans by July 8th, giving officials and the public more time to review. The hotel proposal includes 105 rooms, retail and restaurant space, and over 100 parking spots split between an underground parking garage and street parking. The public will have another chance to weigh in this Thursday, July 24th. The future of short-term rentals in Ocean City could be decided this week. Earlier this year, Town Council passed stricter rules on these rentals requiring a 5-night minimum stay for 2025 and 2026, with that minimum becoming 31 days in 2027. But a petition opposing this ordinance gathered more than 1,000 signatures, triggering a special election to potentially override the ordinance. That election is set for Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Convention Center. Starting today in Millville, a week-long road closure will begin. On your screen now is Powell Farm Road between Roxana Road and Burton Farms Road. This will be closed for paving today through Friday, July 25th, weather permitting. There are detours in place for drivers in both directions. Road closures are coming to Salisbury today. The city says Edgemore Road will be closed for paving between 7 a.m. and 3:30. That will impact the traffic from Northwood Drive to North Salisbury Boulevard. The city says the project is to improve and maintain local infrastructure. We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump is marking 6 months in office. He's touting his accomplishments so far and looking ahead to trade deals he says are close to being finalized. And new overnight, the president is trying to move past the Epstein files, but his supporters are reluctant to let go. NBC's Alice Barr shows us the work of his administration over these last 6 months.
I remember I went to Nebraska to get a
6 months into his second term, President Trump claiming to have revived the country.
We hit a lot of home runs, and we're going to keep hitting them.
Celebrating passage of his massive tax and spending bill, controversial migrant deportations, and imposing tariffs on trading partners around the world, with U.S. businesses feeling the effects and bracing for sweeping reciprocal tariffs set to hit at the end of the month.
Nothing stops countries from talking to us after August 1st, but they're going to start paying the tariffs on August 1st.
But as President Trump presses ahead with his agenda, Republican infighting over the case of infamous sex offender Jeffrey Epstein not going away.
I'm ticked off at everybody. Look, this thing should have been handled.
The president claiming his poll numbers have gone up among Republicans since what he calls the Epstein hoax, though new CBS polling shows his overall approval rating declining since February, with Republicans almost evenly divided on the Epstein handling, and 89% of those surveyed saying the Justice Department should release all its Epstein information. After a request from President Trump, the DOJ has asked for grand jury transcripts to be unsealed, but pressure is mounting for convicted Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before Congress, including from former Epstein lawyer Alan Dershowitz.
She is the Rosetta Stone. She knows everything. She arranged every single trip.
The ongoing controversy looming over the Trump administration 6 months in. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we are just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, Veteran Feels very special. We'll show you how people came together to celebrate one man in Millsboro. And Rehoboth candidate review with less than 1 month until the election will tell you what each candidate wants you to know. And a new study finds that healthcare could get more expensive in 2026. We'll tell you what experts say is driving the potential price hike. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
6:12 on this beautiful Monday morning. Nice sunrise on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Camp. You can see the winds have shifted to the northwest and Laurel as a cold front is working through. Temperatures into the mid-70s and the dew point still in the low 70s for a lot of us, indicating the humid air, but the winds are turning to the north as drier air will be filtering in. We still have some clouds out there, maybe a sprinkle this morning, but as this cold front sinks down, we're going to be seeing that drier air filtering in and then more sun as we go into the afternoon. Boardwalk forecast looking good. Temperatures steady, I think, through the morning hours with that north breeze, but you'll definitely feel conditions drying out as we go into the afternoon with lower 80s, mid 80s inland. Beautiful next few days. More on this gorgeous weather coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. There's road closures coming to Milford this week. DelDOT says Big Stone Beach Road will be closed for the replacement of a crossroad pipe. This will be between Torbert Road and Gobbler Lane. That work starts this Wednesday and is expected to end on Friday. And road closures are coming to Salisbury next week. According to officials, crews are set to work on traffic signal upgrades at 2 intersections along East Main Street. This is for the intersection at East Main Street and Snow Hill Road and East Main Street and Ward Street. The city says that work will begin Monday, July 28th and is expected to last until Friday, August 1st. Consumer sentiment inched higher this month. The survey just released by the University of Michigan puts the economic indicator at 61.8. That's roughly in line with economists' expectations of 61.5. It's a 5-month high, but it has not recovered from the decline spurred by President Trump's trade war. Compared to December, sentiment is down about 16%. Affordable Care Act insurers are proposing their steepest premium increases since 2018. KFF, a health policy research group, looked at 105 Obamacare insurers in 19 states and the District of Columbia that have filed rates so far. KFF found more than a quarter proposing hikes of 20% or more. The expiration of the enhanced ACA premium subsidies at the end of this year is prompting many insurers to hike rates by an additional 4% on average. It's important to note GOP lawmakers did not include an extension of the subsidies in their big, beautiful bill.
Live look at the tunnel and razor cam. Postcard worthy. Beautiful shot there. Sun coming through the clouds. 78 winds have shifted to the north. Cold front sliding through, and that's bringing much needed relief from the intense heat and humidity the next several days as a cooler and drier air mass is building in and will stick around for a while. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 6:17 and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning, and we have a beautiful sunrise there, Bob. That is absolutely gorgeous. If you're out there right now and looking at that in person, it's probably even better.
I would think so. And then there's a windsock on the beach. You can see that moving from left to right, and that means the winds have shifted to the north and that cold front is now making its way through our region. It's going to be mainly sunny today through Wednesday. Lower humidity, comfortable temperatures in the low to mid 80s, and nice sleeping weather too with lows in the 60s. Later in the week though, the humidity comes back, so does the heat. I think we're in the 90s by the end of the week. Rain not expected, so we'll be a dry few days with highs in the 80s and 90s. And clouds and radar, we are seeing some cloud cover, some breaks in the clouds too. We can't rule out a sprinkle as this front is coming through, but for the most part we're dry. We're seeing some of those sprinkles back into Virginia right now as that front is making its way southward. I think it is through Delaware now. It continues to press to the south. Behind the front, it is cooler and drier air, courtesy of high pressure building in through southeast Canada. And this ridge will continue to move this front to the south and keep the humidity away and keep the storms away. You can see how the storms are kind of arcing around this high through the Ohio Valley back into the northern plains, as we'll be seeing that lower humidity, dew points in the 50s and 60s right through Wednesday, and very comfortable for late July. as temperatures now are in the mid to upper 70s, and I think just a slow rise in temperatures this morning. And we'll notice those dew points that are in the 70s start to drop as we go through the day as that northerly wind does kick in. So this morning on Futurecast, still some clouds. Can't rule out a stray sprinkle as the front is working through. By noon, the clouds will start to decrease, and by mid-afternoon, it's in the mid-80s. Noticeably lower humidity with 70s and 80s at the coast. A gorgeous evening on the way, and then overnight, mostly clear and comfortable sleeping weather by tomorrow morning, mid to upper 60s. Some 70s at the beaches, and then Tuesday, I think the nicest day we've seen in a long time. Low humidity, low 80s inland areas, 70s at the coast, a bit of a northeast breeze, and very pleasant heading into Tuesday evening, and another comfortable morning heading into Wednesday morning with temperatures beginning in the 60s and 70s. And on the muggy meter, I think we'll see dew points in the lower 60s in the afternoon, so almost in the comfy range the next couple of days. And then that humidity does go up as we head into the end of the week, as I think we're still comfortable through Wednesday, but then the wind shift to the southwest. It gets kind of hot towards the end of the week. Maybe some storms on Saturday. I think a better chance of storms as we go into the second half of the weekend. 86 in Seaford today, Laurel 85, Rehoboth 83. Gorgeous afternoon at Federalsburg 86, with 86 in Crisfield, Chincoteague 87. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, beautiful weather. Boy, Tuesday and Wednesday, 83 and 84 respectively, mid-60s at night, 88 on Thursday. Pretty hot by Friday, 92 there. Some storms possible Saturday, 93, but then a better chance of storms on Sunday, I believe, and a little cooler and a high of 88 degrees.
Thank you, Bob. In Rehoboth Beach, 3 people are in the running for 2 seats on the Board of Commissioners. They all participated in a forum this weekend at the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. Susan Stewart is a lawyer, a financial advisor, and serves on the city's planning commission. Jeffrey Good is an economist, and Chris Galanti is an urban planner and community advocate. Here's what the candidates want you to know.
My commitment to voters is I will be respectful, I will do my homework, so I'll make informed votes, and I'll work hard to understand what people want and have it reflected in our agenda.
I'm the only one running who will focus on fiscal sanity of the city. I believe we're really headed into the wrong direction.
I bring a data-based approach to decision making. I like to find commonality with my colleagues and work collaboratively on solution and problem solving, and that's the type of perspective that I'll bring.
And Election Day in Rehoboth Beach is August 9th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Rehoboth Beach Convention Center. Up next on CoastTV News today, veteran feels very special, what one man has to say to younger generations after reaching a major milestone in his life. Don't go anywhere. A very special occasion over the weekend, Raymond Sproul celebrated his 100th birthday. Raymond is a U.S. Navy veteran. The festivities took place at the American Legion Post 28 in Millsboro. All of his accolades were on display, plus cake, and he was surrounded by family and friends. And on his special day, he offered some advice to younger generations.
Don't wipe out the history of your ancestors. Learn from your ancestors. I'm hard in genealogy.
And Raymond asked that we give a special shout out to the VA in Georgetown. He says thank you for taking such good care of him. And I think it could be a busy day at the beach today, Bob. We're talking about warm weather, but comfortable warm weather.
Yeah.
A little cloudy this morning, which is always good if you want a morning walk. You're not hit with all that sun.
I would think so.
Sounds like a good beach
And cloud's
day.
not a bad thing. The
It's not.
sand's not as hot. The sun's not as bright.
That is true,
Lisa.
the sand, yes.
Yeah, that hot sand. Won't be as hot this morning. I think we're dealing with some clouds in Chincoteague and Assateague. And then I think as we go into the afternoon, increasing sunshine, lower 80s, beautiful afternoon with a northerly breeze, a light breeze. Fenwick Island and Ocean City, you're into the lower 80s later on. Clouds in the morning, more sun in the afternoon. Waves about 1 to 2 feet. UV index will be very high to extreme, so use extra caution in the sun. Rip current risk is low. Make sure you swim with a buddy and swim at a guarded beach as well. In Cambridge, the next 3 days, gorgeous temperatures into the mid-80s, comfortable humidity, lows at night in the 60s. And Crisfield also looking at beautiful weather too, with low to mid-80s as this nice weather sticks around for a few days to come. Gets hot and humid towards the end of the week. Much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, second 6 months in office, we'll tell you what President Trump says he's accomplished this time around. And help with health bills, we'll tell you what Delaware Governor Matt Meyer could sign today. And first aid kit and a flashlight, what to have on standby during peak hurricane and tornado season. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
A first aid kit and a flashlight, what to have on standby during peak hurricane season. Car engulfed in flames, the latest about this scary situation in Millsboro on Sunday evening. 6 months in, President Trump promotes progress and downplays the Epstein fallout.
Relief from the intense heat and humidity. A cooler and drier air mass settles over Delmarva the next few days with cooler temperatures and lower humidity. Forecast details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. It is almost 6:30 on this Monday morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope you had a chance to get outside, especially on Sunday. Bob, it was a beautiful day on Sunday, cooler in the morning. A lot of people were walking around outside, but we're going to get some relief from that humidity.
Oh, finally, Elisa, and good morning to you. Good morning, Delmarva. We do have relief in the form of a cold front that is now working through Delmarva. Some clouds ahead of the front, some breaks in the clouds too. We could see a few sprinkles. There are a few sprinkles back to our west as the front is now making its way through. And there it is. There's an update. It's moving through Sussex County right now. I think it's actually a little farther south. So we're still seeing some clouds. Can't rule out a sprinkle this morning. But behind this front, it is refreshing, cool Canadian air that's building in, and we'll be looking at much lower humidity levels through time. Out the door right now, we're in the mid to upper 70s. The dew point level still in the 60s and 70s. Still muggy, but that'll be dropping throughout the day as the winds have shifted now to the north. And we're looking at some clouds this morning. Can't rule out a sprinkle through the mid-morning hours. And then as we go through the afternoon, skies beginning to clear. Gorgeous temperatures into the mid-80s mid-afternoon around Millsboro and Delmar, 70s, even 85 in Rehoboth and Lewis, but you'll notice a drop in the humidity and a gorgeous Monday evening on the way. Here's your drive cast this morning. Could see a stray shower or a sprinkle, really no umbrella needed. I still gave it the green light for the morning commute. And then for the afternoon and evening, beautiful, great visibility, mostly sunny, not as hot and drier as well. And you'll be feeling that lower humidity really the next several days. A beautiful stretch of weather on the way. Much more on that coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. Our top story this half hour, as more tornado warnings are happening, we spoke with people who share tips on how to keep safe during severe weather. Some of you watching may remember when a tornado hit Sussex County, killing one man. Recently, people on Delmarva have received multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and at least 2 tornado warnings. Coast TV reporter Zakia Jennings shows us what those who track our weather and keep us safe are saying to have as necessities during this time.
Yep, that was the roofing.
At the end of June, an EF0 tornado touched down in Frankfurt. Just last week, we had this flooding. And another tornado warning issued in the Georgetown area.
It's startling.
Longtime Georgetown local Charlie Koski says he's worried about another one touching down.
It's a little concerning. I've seen the damage that tornadoes have done throughout Delaware.
Sarah Johnson is the warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service in the Mount Holly office, which serves Delaware. Johnson says listening to and understanding the warnings issued are key to staying safe.
When we are talking about severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings, that means a storm has developed and either we see enough evidence on radar that we have confidence it is going to be severe or it may produce a tornado, or we have already gotten a report from somebody on the ground that that storm is severe. In that case, you need to be taking shelter, for both of those need to be taking shelter inside.
Another key piece of information, having a plan. Timothy Cooper, Deputy Director of Public Safety for the Division of Emergency Management, has a 4-step plan.
Get a kit, get a plan, stay informed, but then also think of ways to get engaged.
Cooper says becoming familiar with your evacuation routes, having at least a gallon of water set aside for each family member in your home, and having a plan with your family, whether to shelter in place or to evacuate, are essential when caught in cases of extreme weather.
Living here on the coast, you never know what the weather is going to bring. In the event there is a hurricane or a tornado, you want to make sure you are sheltered in a safe space with a flashlight and a first aid kit. July is peak season for hurricanes, but tornadoes can happen year-round. You want to make sure you're safe. In Georgetown, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
New this morning, an update to a story we have been covering since 2024. Frank Stiles, a 51-year-old from Millsboro, is expected in court today for charges related to home improvement fraud. According to Delaware State Police, since February 2023, detectives discovered Stiles was operating under several business names and signed contracts with 16 victims for in-ground pool installation that never happened. Police say Stiles received over $1.5 million in payments without even starting those projects. According to the Delaware courts, Stiles is scheduled in court today at 9 a.m. Happening today, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to sign several bills related to health care and public health. That's according to state officials, and one of those bills set to go in front of the governor is House Bill 21. Officials say this bans the sale of tianeptine. It's a drug often called gas station heroin. Another piece of legislation ready for Meyer's signature is House Bill 53. This focuses on telephone services and devices for people who are deaf, have hearing loss, or speech disabilities. Transportation issues in Millsboro will take center stage today as the DelDOT committee meeting will take place at Town Hall. According to the agenda, the committee is set to discuss speed limits, stop signs, and signal upgrades along busy Route 24. Officials are set to review plans for a new traffic signal at Plantation Lakes Development and a request for a temporary four-way stop at Route 24 and Delaware Avenue. This will take place at 9:30. And if you were driving on Indian Mission Road and Fisherman's Road in Millsboro on Sunday evening, chances are you saw lots of smoke. The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company posted this video of the response to that fire that was quickly put out by crews. The agency says the black Audi sedan was fully engulfed in flames, but thankfully, everyone inside that car escaped safely. Delaware State Police are continuing to investigate the cause. And happening today, communication relating to the canals in South Bethany. The Canal Water Quality Committee will gather today, and according to the agenda, officials will discuss water quality monitoring and water treatment options to help improve conditions in the town's waterways. That meeting will take place this morning at 10 o'clock. Also happening today, a focus on finances in Milton. According to the agenda, town officials will present the budget for fiscal year 2026. Officials will discuss and could vote on a resolution they say is related to the scope of work for the Finance Committee. This meeting will take place this evening at 6:30 at the Milton Library. Sunday marked the 6-month anniversary of President Trump's second term in office, and according to a post on Truth Social, the president is touting that the United States is the hottest and most respected country anywhere in the world. Also, that his second term is, quote, being hailed as one of the most consequential periods of any president, ending that post with happy anniversary.
We hit a lot of home runs, and we're going to keep hitting them.
And the president spent part of Sunday golfing at his national club in Sterling, Virginia. And we're just getting started in this final half hour of Coast TV News today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, Free from Invasive Fish will show you an event in Salisbury that rewarded people for helping get rid of invasive prey. And Race Weekend Recap will show you who came out on top as the NASCAR Cup Series made its annual trip to Dover over the weekend. And police installed bike lights will tell you what you need to know about an event offering free safety upgrades for bikers in Ocean View. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
6:39 on our Monday morning. Seeing some cloud cover out there. Cold front is dropping in, maybe a few sprinkles this morning, but got our helmet cam looking pretty good right now and dry, and temperatures into the mid to upper 70s right now. 78 in Lewis, Bethany Beach 79, Laurel 76, Millsboro 75. Dew point temperatures still on the muggy side in the low 70s, but they'll be dropping as that front's coming in. Winds picking up out of the north and drier air will build in. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies now. Can't rule out a sprinkle as this front is starting to drop in. And as it drops through, I think we'll see increasing sunshine through the day and then cooler and drier air. Today's checklist, you don't need the umbrella or raincoat, but we could see a few sprinkles this morning. Otherwise, a cold drink would be nice, and have water handy too throughout the day. It will be a warm one. Sunscreen a must. Very high on the UV index, and sunglasses too. And by the way, there's your beach forecast. We're looking at Assateague and Chincoteague in the upper 70s and low 80s today. Waves around 1 to 2 feet. Rip current threat is low. Much more in your forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. An update surrounding Philly's largest labor union and its tentative deal with the city. For the past week, members have been voting to determine if a new contract will be ratified with city officials. Today, those results will be made public. About 9,000 workers in Philadelphia went on strike July 1st. The city felt the impact of that strike, especially where trash collection was concerned. Union and city officials reached a tentative deal July 9th, which will give a 9% salary increase to union workers over the next 3 years. Normal curbside trash and recycling pickup resumed July 14th. New this morning, if your bike needs lights, the Ocean View Police Department is ready to help. The agency will host its annual bicycle safety checkpoint on Tuesday. Officers say they will be offering free safety upgrades, and that this will include lights that police will help install. The event takes place from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in front of Taylor Bank on Atlantic Avenue. Big upgrades are coming to the Salisbury Zoo. Officials say one of the more notable improvements includes building a new education facility. The zoo's wildlife ambassador animals are expected to be housed there, and updates will also be made to several animal habitats. They say many of the habitats were built in the 70s and the 80s and are overdue for improvements. They say these upgrades will help the Salisbury Zoo also move closer to accreditation by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums.
After rain caused a red flag delay, Denny Hamlin cruised to a win at the Dover Speedway for the second straight year. The Monster Mile isn't exactly an easy environment to compete in. Just ask Hamlin.
This is one of the more physical demanding racetracks that we go to anyway. It's certainly in the top, I think, 3. Just simply because of the G-forces that it has. You don't have long straightaways to take breaks.
But Hamlin has since learned how to embrace the steep curves that Dover provides. He struggled here early in his career with 5 straight finishes outside the top 20 in the late 2000s. But in the time since, he's learned and adjusted like he always does.
And so I just try to look at it from a very straightforward point of view, numbers point of view, find out where I'm bad, analyze what I'm doing, analyze the best, and then figure out how I can go faster like them, and then give that information to the teams.
So with 2 straight wins here, Hamlin is clearly a fan of the area. So is the owner of his team, former NFL head coach Joe Gibbs.
We love coming here. We had sponsors all day long. It's a huge deal for this part of the country, and we just appreciate that so much.
It's safe to say Dover, Delaware now has the approval and love of both Hamlin and Gibbs. Reporting from Dover, I'm Tyler Aiken, DSN.
In sports, the Camden, Wyoming Little League representing Delaware started off their first day in the Mid-Atlantic Regional Softball Tournament with a 10-0 win over Washington, D.C. in 4 innings on Sunday. They scored 4 runs in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Cheyenne Benson started in the circle for Camden, Wyoming and tossed a perfect game. After the game, DSN spoke with Camden, Wyoming manager Shawnee Benson about her team's win and her pitcher's perfect performance.
Great time to build confidence. They were super nervous coming in. Being on television was scary for them. So I think that was a good confidence booster.
And Camden, Wyoming will play New Jersey today at 1 o'clock. And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 6:15, it's boys basketball with Maryland Supreme Basketball League. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
I know Mondays can be rough, but that's why we here on Coast Life are here to brighten up your afternoon. Here's why you want to tune in and join us at 4 o'clock. If you were hanging out in Dewey Beach on Friday night, and chances are you caught the Struts playing at the Bottle and Cork, we've got a little behind the scenes action and interview to share with you. Also, I know we're in the middle of that summer. Maybe your hair is feeling a little extra frizzy, a little extra crazy. Your skin just doesn't quite feel right. Our friends at Rehoboth Beauty Boutique are going to take care of you, especially with all the salt, sand, and sea that does some damage to our hair and skin. And of course, we're going to be checking in with our chief meteorologist, Paul Williams, not wearing his chief meteorologist hat, but the prostate guy hat, to talk about a very important cause and a very important upcoming walk. All of that is coming up today at 4. We'll see you there.
A cold front moving through Delmarva, a north breeze right now in Lewis. Some clouds, maybe a sprinkle. Otherwise, a gorgeous air mass building into the region. Needed relief from the intense heat and humidity, and that cooler and drier air mass sticks around for a few days to come. I'll have your full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
It is 6:47 and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning. And on this Monday morning, we've seen some beautiful sunrises. We see one right there in Laurel. We do see the sun trying to come through those clouds. I know we're going to have a cloudier morning this morning, Bob.
Yeah, we have this cold front dropping through, Elisa, and we have the clouds. Can't rule out a sprinkle. Otherwise, boy, you're going to love this air mass behind this front today through Wednesday. Sunshine, lower humidity. Temperatures actually a hair below average with highs in the low to mid 80s and lows into the 60s at night. So you'll be actually able to open up the windows and enjoy the cooler weather. Great sleeping weather. And then late week, it does get hot. The humidity climbs and rain is not expected with highs into the 80s and 90s at that time. And we're looking at some clouds this morning, some breaks in the clouds too, and maybe a sprinkle or two. You can see these clouds extend back to the west. So I think we will be in the clouds for a little while, but it's clearer farther to the north behind this cold front that is now dropping through Delmarva from north to south. Behind it, we're seeing cooler and drier air filtering in around high pressure. And this high will settle over the northeast the next few days, keeping us nice and dry and sunny and deflecting any kind of storminess to our south and west. You can see kind of the clouds and the storminess from the Midwest into the areas to our south. And then south of this front, it's just hot and humid, but we'll be drying out for the next several days thanks to high pressure to our north, suppressing that humid air to the south, and that will send dew points into the 50s and 60s, so very comfortable for late July. Out the door right now, 75 in Millsboro, 79 Bethany Beach, 78 in Lewis, with Delmar at 76 degrees, and dew points still on the muggy side in the low 70s, but that will drop as we go through the day as the north winds pick up behind the front. And we'll be seeing temperatures this morning in the 70s with clouds, maybe a sprinkle or two through mid-morning. Still a little cloudy, maybe through the noon hour, but then in the afternoon, we get into sunshine, mid-80s inland areas, 70s and 80s at the coast, and noticeably lower humidity. A beautiful evening on the way with temperatures in the 80s, and then a gorgeous night with mostly clear skies by morning. Beautiful sleeping weather as low as 64 in Seaford, and then 70s at the coast. And then Tuesday, I think the nicest day we've seen in some time with low 80s inland, a little cooler at the beaches, but very comfortable, lower humidity. And then moving into Wednesday morning, once again, another comfortable morning with temperatures into the 60s and 70s. On the muggy meter, I think our dew points drop into the low 60s in the afternoon. So almost in that comfy range in the next few days, but still pretty nice. But then by the end of the week into the weekend, back into the humid to maybe a miserable range, as Futurecast is showing us still in good shape on Wednesday. And then the winds start to shift to the southwest. We start to increase the heat and humidity, but dry through Friday. Saturday is up in the air. Could see storms, but maybe dry. But I put storms in the forecast for worst case scenario, then a better chance of storms again on Sunday. And for today, 86 in Seaford, 86 in Millsboro, 83 into Rehoboth with that northerly breeze. Eastern Shore, 85 in Cambridge and Vienna. Also real nice for Berlin, 85 for you. Chincoteague, 87 with the lower humidity. Paul, Dave, a 7-day forecast. Look at those mid-60s at night, Tuesday through Thursday morning, 83 Tuesday, 84 Wednesday. It does warm up through the end of the week. It gets hot by Friday, 92, pretty muggy too. That chance of storms on Saturday, 93, but I think a better chance of storms on Sunday. I know, not the best timing, but looks like storms then and a high of 88.
Thank you, Bob. In Wycomico County, the rain held off on Saturday for a fishing competition. Anglers cast their lines in the Nanticoke River in Sharptown for Salisbury University's annual invasive fishing derby. The derby targets blue catfish and Chesapeake Kana, which prey on striped bass and blue crab populations. Dr. Noah Bresman with SU says in addition to some competitive fun, his lab will be using some of the fish caught for research.
And we can get tissue samples, data, whatever we need from them at this event in front of everybody to kind of show science is accessible. And so this event helps support the research in my lab as well as research of our collaborators like USGS is here, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources.
And there were more than $1,000 prizes in fishing for those participating. And the time is now 6:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pet of the day is enjoying a healthy snack. On your screen right now is Cece. Cece loves to snack, and right here she's enjoying a carrot. Cece was submitted to us by Pamela in Lincoln. And of course, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen, scan the QR code at the top of your screen to submit your furry friend to Coast TV News, then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature. It is 6:55 and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. A tornado in western Sussex County in 2023. Some of you may remember seeing that one. It killed one man, and recently people on Delmarva have received multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and at least 2 tornado warnings. In the event there is a hurricane or a tornado, you want to make sure you are sheltered in a safe space with a flashlight and a first aid kit. If you are driving on Indian Mission Road and Fisherman's Road in Millsboro on Sunday evening, chances are you saw lots of smoke. The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company posted this video of the response to a fire that was quickly put out by crews. The agency says the black Audi sedan was fully engulfed in flames, but thankfully everyone inside that car did escape safely. And the time is now 6:56, and we are going to take another look at our Monday forecast that is shaping up to be a good day to be outside, Bob.
Oh, it's going to be not only a great day today, Elisa, but the next several days. And it's always nice to get a north wind in July. That means we're getting a break from the intense heat and humidity, and I think we deserve a break. As we see that north breeze today, not especially strong, but you'll notice a lower humidity into the afternoon. Some clouds this morning, can't rule out a sprinkle, and then more sunshine this afternoon, mid-80s, a high around 86, and noticeably drier. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, some gorgeous nights for sleeping, mid-60s, very comfortable, 83 on Tuesday, mid-80s Wednesday. Humidity starts to creep up later in the week, 88 Thursday, and then 92 on Friday. And Elisa and I were talking about this. The weekend comes and then the rain chances come back too. Slight chance of storms Saturday, 93. A better chance of storms on Sunday, 88. And then upper 80s into next week. Looks like a chance of storms again Monday and then again Wednesday.
Yes, Bob, because who needs a clear weekend? Well, thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today. The Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m. Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11. And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Monday morning.